Hello, my friend. Aloha pa. Time is 12:44, close to 1 o'clock. If my watch is correct, this is 18th of August. I haven't been away from doing these videos, although I have to do a few of them. I'm doing other things besides getting old. Tonight, I like to talk about matters that includes the divine intervention, the providence, into the social life of the people. I've been having discussion with several people about the recent event in the United States and this phenomenon of Donald Trump, which defies everything that they know in politics in the United States. This man is in defiance of all of that. And I did few videos about him before, but I took it off. I had a second thought about it. And the question that I've been asked, and I like to address tonight as a specialist in the matter of divinity, which is my specialty, and that is whether God is responsible or even plans for certain regimes to come or to go. The answer is very clear for anybody who has read Baha'i faith, that the interference and intervention of God and the planet takes only through his manifestations and his revelations. So if the life of mankind has been changed for good by appearance of Jesus Christ, or by Muhammad, or by Rama and Krishna, and today by Bab and Baha'u'llah, well then you can say the effect of this revelation on mankind has been intervened by God revealing his opinion, his ideas, is where we have to go in this spiritual path. So, there is no other time that I know, according to the writing, personally, that God decides to bring this guy out and take that one out, or even the event that takes place in nature. He's not responsible. There are some exceptions. In the matter of the United States of America, that the appearance of George Washington and, later on by Abraham Lincoln, because they were the two of the 24 elders of God in the Bible, you could say that is an interference or interventions of God in creating a republic, an example for the planet Earth, so all the regimes and all the people look upon that and look up to that and learn from it. George Washington always talks that the providence, the will of God is involved. If you ever have a chance to go to one of my videos that talks about George Washington and Abraham Lincoln and their role in creating what was promised by the sixth Imam in the Islam, that he speaks of the promised one, that when he comes, he will show you the way of justice. What is the social justice? Not that he's going to do it, but he will show it to you. And these things happens through the through his disciples in Christianity, through the Imams, 12 of them in Islam, and the Baha'i faith by the elders. So there is no intervention of God to say that, okay, Donald Trump is coming up is by God, because it seems everywhere anything they're doing to bring him down, it's not possible, it seems. So somebody even was telling me that, okay, if not the will of God, that must be the will of the devil. For the record, we don't believe in devils as an existing things. We just believe the lack of God causes the devil to grow, just as the lack of light creates darkness. That's what Abdu'l says. But there is something else that is very elusive. And I know what that is. That can cause a person like Donald Trump to come into power. The person like Hitler come into power. As in Iran, the person of Ayatollah Khomeini come into the power. There is a being that can cause that. In the United States, let's talk about it. My favorite country, besides my country, Canada. Have you ever thought that actually, besides Americans, there is somebody else lives in America? Or in Canada, or in Iran. Sounds spooky, isn't it? But actually it's real. That person is responsible. Sometimes for the things that we as an individual are not aware of it. We don't know why that's happening. I'll give you an example. I've spoken about this before, maybe not in this manner. Our body is made out of billions and trillions, quadrillions of cells. Each cell has an entity, has a life, has a center, has a walls, and lives alongside other cells. None of the cells in the body, none of the cells are aware of the body as a whole. They don't know we exist. A cell doesn't have understanding even to know their coming together has created an intelligent being. They don't know that. It is the same way that the individual people, when they start to have affinities with each other, they speak same language, have same religion, they create an organic body that has its own will. And the individual people are not aware of that being. That being exists. The traces of this fact is in the word of Bible even. Isn't that Jesus says, if 2 or 3 of you are gathered in my name, I will be there? What does that mean? You individually are not equal to me, but if you are gathered in my name, meaning I'm the center, I'm the topic, I will be existing there. I will be present. So you can say that is how God is present sometimes. And the power of collective. Collective is different from the will of God. So, a lot of things happen with this collective. Muhammad talks about that people are as one in the eye of God. And the Baha'i faith is very, very clearly has said that. We essentially are pieces of jigsaw puzzles. But if you put it together, it becomes humanity. So, we do that every day. But we are not aware of it, you see. The Constitution of the United States of America is made by America as a biological being. That biological being called America is responsible for sending Apollos to the moon. See how powerful is he? Or she? Built all the roads, but created all the scientists, thousands and thousands and thousands of things. That is America. It's one being. It's a collective of all the people. But it has the life of his own. It has its own life, decisions. Yes, that is true. Now, sometimes this collective of the people becomes sick, just like our body. We become sick. We go drink water, we drink some bitter taste medicine. And all the cells in the body, millions of them, they die. They don't know what's happening. But actually, body knows what he does. We might sacrifice part of the body, but at the end of the day, he makes the body to survive. Because under this collection of the body, the collections of the cells which makes the body, the cells can endure for hundreds of years to live. If you put one cell on the table, after a few seconds, it dies. But not when they're a part of the collective. Same thing. An American cannot do anything. But when they get together, they create something else. But that thing has the life of its own. Okay? Let's see. This collective gets really sick and terminal, it's dying. Then it produces a tumor. Just like our body, our brain is sick, has not done good in the years, creates a tumor in the brain, a cancer tumor in the body, kills us. The whole body dies because of it. For example, in Iran, I witnessed that tumor was Ayatollah Khomeini. It killed the nation, as it was. Completely. And people don't know they are responsible for the creation of this being. So much so that even if they don't have the intention of making him, calling the ghost to come in amongst them, the devil to come amongst them, but when they get together, that will come out. I've seen it. For example, I've seen one guy, he's a real son of a gun, has a bad attitude, he's a bad ass, he's a racist. But when I'm alone, he doesn't say anything. 2, 3 of his friends get together, they try to give lessons or things. When there are more than 3 or 10 of them, they started to talk and even go on and do things. If they get hundreds of them among them, they'll probably kill me. Because it's like a company. You are a -1, doesn't affect you a lot. But there's this guy, he has also another -1. That is, both of them are a little racist. 10 of them, 100 of them become 100 bits of racism. It creates a racist being in the middle that wants actually to kill the person. And it just happens. I've seen many times people go in a meeting, they never thought the meeting ends up to something like that, but it does. This is what's happening to the Republican Party in the United States. They don't understand, where's this guy coming from? The collective is making him. Now, the Constitution of the United States guarantees a social freedom of people. The Constitution of God, revelation of Baha'u'llah, guarantees the freedom of individual, the spiritual freedom, the freedom within, the freedom from fear, freedom from sadness, freedom from the poverty and the want and the need. Those are the big diseases. It makes us free from that. And, cast some shade on the social values as well. So this collective in the United States, it does not recognize Baha'u'llah, not yet, but it is the closest to the Baha'i revelation than other countries. So they have done some good things for their own people and for the others. So the revelation of Baha'u'llah, which is really the constitution of the freedom, the constitution of the planet, it's all embracing. But the United States of America's constitution is a social one. It doesn't go into the people's houses. It doesn't tell people what to pray, what to do, what other things. That is left to them how they do it. So this collective, if it is sick, that creates a tumor. But sometimes he's not sick. He's ill. He's not terminally sick. He's not just feeling well. So just like a person goes and finds a glass of water or a glass of juice and it takes some vitamins, this collective also tries to do something. For example, at the time of Abraham Lincoln, the sickness of the United States was this slavery. It wasn't terminal. It wasn't going to kill the society. But it was a disease. So the collective produces Abraham Lincoln, in which case it was approved by God, by the Lord, by Baha'u'llah, and I know that. And he comes miraculously, although they were in minorities, they passed. They passed the emancipations bill, and they freed the begin for the freedom of the blacks in the United States of America. But other times, the United States might be very sick. Sick. Then it produces a tumor. Now, what is Donald Trump? Is he a solution? Or is a tumor? That is what you have to decide when you're voting. I was reading the Word of Bob in one of his early books. This revelation is called a commentary on the chapter called in Quran Joseph. There he says, I'm extrapolating, paraphrasing, he says, the fulfillment of the wishes of a bad people is their hell. And the fulfillment of the wishes of the good people is their paradise. I've been thinking about this, and I thought, right. I see some guys in downtown, they're on crack and cocaine. if you fulfill their wishes and they give them a lot of money, what would they do? They're going to drink more. They're going to use more cocaine. What will that do? OD and they die. They go overdose and they die. So that's what's going to happen. And the good people, on the other hand, if they have their wishes is fulfilled, it creates good things for them and for the others. So, is Donald Trump is a bad guy and he's wishing to become president and that is his hell? Is America terminally sick that is going to elect him as a president, thereby they're going to die? And the Baha'i faith is pointing towards the disintegration of the United States, comparing it, Shoghi Effendi, to the Roman Empire. This is we're witnessing the fall of the Roman Empire and the Great Republic of America. Is this the death pang of the United States, Donald Trump, or not? It's up to him. It seems the man has no power in controlling himself and what he says. It is such a border to be a genius or a psychotic, a crazy person. All I know that as it is, from Bill Clinton, there was few trillions. George Bush made it 10, 12 trillions. As good as great as the Obamas brought it up to 19, definitely Hillary is going to increase it. And I know if it hits 30, the entire income of the United States, as the federal income tax that collects, it has to go towards debt. So, it seems the normal presidencies, it's just buying Tylenols. It's buying a painkiller for something very terminal, which needs a surgery. Donald Trump is the surgeon, or is an imposter? If you want to die slowly, vote normally. Then if you don't want to die and you want to take the chances, then you have to go towards him. But what is he? We don't know. This is hidden. These are personal decisions. This man wanted to become a president when he was 12 years old. This idea is growing in him long time. He set all these television series and everything else to become famous because he had a plan. But the things that he says cannot be explained, except that he is out of order, or the collective is making him to say those things without even him knowing it. The problem that I have is that, are we voting for some writing that is written by somebody and a candidate just reads from it? Is that what we're voting for? Or we're voting for an individual based on our experiences that we have learned as a human being, that this person could be good. So the thing that he says, it could be well said within all these candidates, all these politicians, but they don't bring it up. He does. But one thing for sure is wrong. It took Second World War, First World War, but not Civil War in the United States, to put this genie into the box. That's racism. And now this man is opening this Pandora box and talks about these things. So, it doesn't matter when I become president, I can control it. I profoundly disagree. If you open this box and you open this kind of attitudes, if he gets elected, it's a license to a lot of racists, a lot of ignorant people in the United States, in southern part of the United States, and other parts, they attack the minorities, the blacks, and all kind of things, because he opened it. But he might be more vicious than we think. It might be that he wants that to happen, because he wants then to declare martial law in that state or in that city. That takes the control by the army, where things can happen fast. Martial court is not normal court. He might want to do that. I actually do not disagree with that. I believe the freedom that is such a novelty in Western things. I can't read you the writing of Baha'u'llah about that. He is totally disagreeing with it. If you read the chapters in the Kitab Aqdas, he calls it an animal state. This type of freedom that we are looking for, that we think we should have. He is totally disagreeing with it, and I agree with him. But this freedom, it seems, is like a toothpaste out of the jar. You can't put it back. You need a dictator to put that toothpaste back into the jar, a technicians. You can't just put it back. People learn to be free this way. Now they are. They're addicted to it. It's addictive, but it's unhealthy. So the freedom is a commodity, is the money, is the metaphysical money. United States had to spend it all, doesn't have anymore. This is why collective is looking for a dictator. I am sure Donald Trump is the dictator, but is he a good one or is he a bad one? Things that he's going to do ultimately is going to be useful, but it will tear the United States of America into pieces. Of course, it is his decisions, if he has a power on it. It seems this man cannot even decide what to say. Things that he says, it's clearly hurts him, hurt others. It's like a self-destructive system he has. But yet, he might get elected. Then the matter is not in his control, what he says. He is that medicine that the collective has taken, wants to have that medicine because it wants to kill a lot of germ inside the body. This collective called America. So, it is not God. God is not responsible for these things. I work for him, I'm his elder, I'm directly his station in the planet. I know what exactly in his mind, and he tells me when something happens. But he's not a part of this. But the way his factory and his nature is made has got a lot of bumps in it. Thousands. It's like by trial and error, we know what is good and what's not good. By the past experiences, if we look at it, we should know what's right, what's not right. But nevertheless, we do. Whatever we do, good or bad. Then there's consequences. That's how this nature is made. For every action, there's a reaction. You do this, that happens. You do that, this happens. But he is not guiding towards the wrong things, to touch the wrong things. For example, people want to be homosexual, and then bestialities. Then there's AIDS. And then there are Bill Gates that they like to say, oh yeah, I'm going to fight with this disease and I'm going to spend $1 billion to create a vaccine. The big boy doesn't understand. What he does is selfish. It's for personal satisfaction. It's not necessarily the right things. He doesn't know where to spend the money. If I had 50 million of this, they own like 50 billion, that's 50,000 million. If I had 50 of those, that I would have changed North America completely, right from the beginning. Because I believe in Canada itself, there's at least 1 million Baha'is already. In a matter of 1 year, they'll join. That's enough. That's enough. Once they come through the magnet of Baha'u'llah and his teaching, it affects the rest of the country. Why? Because there's so much positive things is going to happen because of it. Right away, the West is ready. But the power of collective is involved. Now let's go back to the Baha'i faith. Let's talk about this collective issue in the business. This matter of collective is so big for Baha'u'llah. I mean, it's a fact I just brought you. That he has created a collective of his own. Well, Jesus says, if you're 2 or 3 of you are gathered in my name, I will be there. Baha'u'llah says, if there's 9 of you are there. In the fashion that he says it should be, not just any 9. And 9 that are Baha'is. They do not need to be any particular variety. They could be totally people that cannot read and write even. But they're Baha'is. If they get elected, 9 of them, through the locals, national, and then finally to the international, those 9, they get together and they legislate the laws of God. Baha'u'llah says is equal to me. You see, he's inventing himself, Baha'u'llah, by using us through the procedures, of course. That would be his house of legislatures. And then he has this house of the universal house of guardianship, which I've been proposing and nobody's listening to me, where the 5 ladies getting elected. And they interpret the writings. Those are a specialist. As what is it mean by the word of Baha'u'llah? Based on that universal house of justice, if they are ordinary, very ordinary people, they have no knowledge, let's say, from anything, they still legislate the word of God. See how powerful is the collective then? Yes, it is. But this is the problem. It has to work according to the plan. Baha'i faith is like a television that you buy, let's say. You have to assemble everything according to the order that you have, according to the plan. If you don't, TV will not work. Your equipment does not start. And that's what the state of the Baha'is are. You see. So there's the machinery of Baha'u'llah, my God, it's not working. I don't know what kind of a disease it is that, I don't have the name for it, that they say that the immune system attacks the body itself and body dies under that. There's a name for it. I don't know what that is. But that kind of a situation is happening among in the Baha'i faith. When the collective is worse than the individual, then is the time of revolution. That is the problem. The collective of the government of Iran is not as smart as the individual Iranians. That's the revolution. This collective of the Baha'is in Haifa, Israel, which they call it Universal Laws of Justice, it is not a Baha'i institution. It is the Baha'is' institution. What Baha'is have instituted and call it a Baha'i institution is not the institution of God. It cannot work without the international institution of guardianship. So this institution is out there and they're attacking me. I'm their friend. They don't see it. I challenged them 1,000 times. They just don't want to come by. It's regardless, it doesn't matter so much to me. I don't get frustrated by these things at all. I get deeply saddened that how much more could be done? How could, through a gift of God, this revelation of Baha'u'llah, we could prevent thousands and thousands dying out of hunger, out of a simple disease, out of war? Thinking about them frustrates me. I cannot claim righteousness when I know people are hungry in India, when people are suffering in China. I cannot claim righteousness. What do? Go die with them? Or stay on the side? There might be a hope at one point that something might happen. So only for that reason I allow myself to live as a Canadian in this house. That my survival might end up helping the planet. But if I knew this is going to be always like this, as a man who believes in righteousness, I would have just sold everything and have to go live among the Indians and die with them in hunger and disease. Such a noble nation, the people of India. So, I want to conclude, but this is my thought, my ideas of what's happening, and it seems very doom and gloom. Hopefully it is not. I hope it is not. But God cannot and will not do these things. He does create a nature in which there's consequences for the things to do, in which there's trial and error to know what's right, what's wrong, in which there's a past that we can look and study to see what it is not to do things. And on the top of that, He Himself, from the very central being, He manifests Himself, just like transition into this world every 1,000 years, and after He goes by His guardians and all the time to guide people. Besides that, He cannot do anything else, because what makes us to continue to be after this physical life is one of the most expensive elements in the world of existence, and that's willpower. If we don't have willpower when we die, then we are dead. We're stones. We can't think. We're like animals. We live instinct. Or we're like vegetable. But to be again human, you need willpower. And the willpower is to do it yourself. But He creates His cause, His revelation, practicing it and spreading it is an action that wasn't existing before he comes. The non-Baha'is, they don't know what that is. The Baha'is have this opportunity to go to teach, and once they teach, they get so many attributes, which are all expensive, beautiful, fantastic wealth. Those qualities, those attributes, it's you. Everything else you have is like this clothes, attached to you, but it's not you. It all fall off, okay? Thank you very much.